Hi, my name's Kevin Royal. I'm here at the Center for International Governance Innovation. I'm doing this video response to a lot of the questions and comments that I've received on my video so that I'm able to give more information. Now what's happening here is a great example that's supporting my vision for Canada. Here at CIGI, we received a donation from Jim Balsillie to fund a joint school between Wilfrid Laurier University and the University of Waterloo. Now what Mr. Balsillie was able to do was leverage that donation and secure money from the provincial government as well. We need the federal government to step up. If you look at business leaders in the community, those who have a philanthropic element to their lifestyle, they want to get the most bang for their buck. That's why they've been successful in business. So if we have a federal government that steps up with matching funding for great initiatives, we can find those business leaders and get their money and make sure we have cutting-edge institutions like CIGI, and that innovative new research in technology is happening all across Canada. I was challenged on why I had such a focus on engineering and math and sciences, and I still do have that. I think that the future will be a knowledge economy, but that wasn't at the expense or the exclusion of investments in the arts, in applied health studies, and environmental studies. If you look at the example here with the Jim Balsillie School of International Affairs, that's an arts program, but it came together by a private-public partnership, and that's what we need to seek out more. I'm a graduate of the arts faculty at the University of Waterloo, and nobody knows more than me that the humanities and the social sciences are incredibly underfunded here in Canada. So we need the government, the federal government, to find money and find innovative business leaders who are looking for great projects that they want to support. I think that can happen. I also want to address some of the other questions. Firstly, there was talk about why I wanted to do a new tax credit when the SR and ED program already exists. Well, I will contend that the SR and ED program is terribly ineffective. If you look at comparators that analyze us between countries that we consider our equals, we are lagging behind in innovation. The bottom line is the move towards a knowledge economy, the move towards an intellectual economy is happening all over the world, and Canada is not making the necessary investments. Our top companies aren't making investments, and we don't have a structure that allows small and medium businesses to focus on research and development that will grow their businesses. So I think that remains a priority. We need to compete. We need to develop Canada as a global brand. When people think of Canada, when people think of Canadians, we need them to think of high quality innovation and high quality research. When I mention Japan, what do you think of? I imagine you think of that high technology and that high tech programs that have become their staple. This isn't a groundbreaking idea. It's happened before. If you look at the United States in the middle of the 20th century, they made a decision. They said, we're going to set goals with the Apollo program that are ambitious, and we're going to live through them. And it didn't happen by sacrificing the arts, it didn't happen by sacrificing culture, but it became a major program that had major successes. I think the federal government in Canada can do a similar thing. Also, we need to really focus on the arts. I'm a firm believer in integrated learning. So when I talk about engineering and math and computer science, those are absolutely essential, but I really envision a future where a physicist knows Plato, where an engineer knows Euripides, and where an actuarial scientist knows alliteration. I believe that kind of integrated learning can happen. I just don't believe it's the role of the federal government. So when we move forward, I would like to see at a high school level, and that was another comment that someone had on my video, was shouldn't we be encouraging this type of innovation at the high school level? And that's absolutely right, but that's not the role of the federal government. I think the federal government can play a leader, but only in the post-secondary education. Now, some of you will say that, okay, that's a provincial jurisdiction, but the federal government has always set certain standards, especially for access and quality of education. If you look at the Millennium Scholarship Foundation, which is up for renewal and should be renewed because that provides grants for low-income students. Another challenge that I received was on one of my video responses to Derek Takahashi. Someone said, why do I want targeted tuition as opposed to a tuition cut across the board? And I'll tell you why. I think we need to think of our federal government. There's an element of social engineering there. We have underrepresented groups who have trouble accessing post-secondary education here in Canada. If we look at first generation children whose parents didn't go to university, if you look at Aboriginals, if you look at people with disabilities, if you look at especially low-income people from low-income backgrounds. There is a real problem. If we're cutting the tuition across the board, we're also benefiting the son and daughter of the Bay Street lawyer who makes $300,000 a year. They don't need that money. There are people from underrepresented communities that need that money. So we need to target any sort of cut that we make to tuition here in Canada. Finally, there was discussion about being a self-sustaining economy, and I talked about that a bit in my original video. With 2 million Canadians having a stake in the agricultural economy here in Canada. Innovation in agriculture is of paramount importance, I believe, incredibly in global food security. As the global population is expanding, Canada needs to realize that there's not going to be enough food in the future. So we need to become increasingly reliant on our own infrastructure in agriculture as we move forward in a global economy. I also believe that kind of innovation, soil techniques, water cultivation techniques, farm innovation in our farming, that helps. So I believe that this isn't exclusively something that is limited to engineering or math, but that these applications can be taken to help our food security, and I think that's of vital importance. One or two more thoughts on the trend of how do we encourage youth to get involved in this sort of thing, and that's my tech job programs. I didn't state it in my original video, but I view that as something that's accessible by teenagers of all ages, not just those at the post-secondary education level. And it means that the government is providing them opportunities for being innovative. I really believe that an entrepreneurial spirit is something that should be sought out in our young leaders of today and tomorrow, and we should be fostering that by providing funding for their great initiatives that they're looking to do on their evenings and their weekends and their summer months. So I believe we can do that through a tech job program, and that starts that step that we talked about. It starts that step on the federal government deciding this is the knowledge economy we need to be working towards. It's something Canada as a whole has to buy into. It's something we have to buy into in every city, in every province across this great land. So we have to decide. Do we believe that this change is happening? And I say without a doubt, there's a very cogent, very clear case that has been made that the knowledge economy is happening. And then it becomes, are we all going to buy into it? I think the time is now. It's not just engineering and math. It's arts. It's international innovation. The global economy is coming. Is Canada ready to compete? I hope we are. Thanks.